Christian nationalism is a term that prompts sparks today because it lacks a universally accepted definition, even among Christians. Among non-Christians, the term may conjure up images of people being forced to wear scarlet letters, as though some kind of neo-Puritanism would be imposed by governmental fiat upon the whole country. Well, that may be an overstatement, but not by much. Rising anti-Christian sentiment has Bible-believing Christians increasingly caricatured as dangerous extremists who must be silenced. The term Christian nationalist is regrettably part of that fear-inducing caricature. But up until the 1960s, the majority of Americans lived, worked, and governed themselves according to what might be called Christian nationalism. As I mentioned in a previous video, when the French historian Alexis de Tocqueville visited the United States in 1831, he noted this: the Americans combined the notions of Christianity and of liberty so intimately in their minds that it is impossible to make them conceive the one without the other. And then there's the Supreme Court proclamation of 1892. Our laws and our institutions must necessarily be based upon and embody the teachings of the Redeemer of mankind. It is impossible that it should be otherwise. Daniel Webster, a one-time Secretary of State, put it this way: whatever makes men good Christians makes them good citizens. Was Webster a Christian nationalist? Can the Supreme Court's description of America in 1892 be Christian nationalism? Did Alexis de Tocqueville observe Christian nationalism here in 1831? Well, you tell me. The fact is, Christian values and principles in America's past were normative. This is not to say the implementation of those values was faultless. I can hear a chorus of objectors pointing out the presence of slavery in our past. Yet these same objectors seem to ignore the fact that a great civil war was waged that resulted in the abolition of slavery. Nevertheless, the term Christian nationalism is a slippery misnomer. It conjures up a church-run state, and this definitely is not what the founders wanted. Let's not put ourselves in the crosshairs of those who delight in placing a target on believers through the use of a pejorative and fear-inducing label like Christian nationalist. That ill-defined term isn't worth the potshots. Let's also bear in mind that the mixture of Christianity and civil social affairs in the U.S. prior to the mid-20th century was voluntary. It emanated from the bottom up, not the top down. Christian faith by force is a farce. Healthy Christian orthopraxy is always voluntary and never coerced. Yet having said this, we must also recognize, and here we need to walk and chew gum at the same time, we must recognize that governmental fiat is always necessary when it comes to creating any law that's designed to foster civil coherence. That's what representative legislation is for in a constitutional republic. But the big issue is what standard will be used to conceive those laws and to manage those laws after they're birthed. This is where a nation's moral metaphysical compass comes in. There can be only one ultimate north on any coherent nation's moral metaphysical compass. And in the United States, up until the mid-20th century, Christianity was our unifying north. Tocqueville observed and documented this approach to unity, and the Supreme Court affirmed it. But today, we've taken our collective eye off the needle. In fact, we've replaced the Judeo-Christian compass with a different one: postmodern, secularized individualism. And that compass is rapidly heading us into neo-paganism. And paganism, by force, is pure agony. Yet, we are not without hope. Christ followers, even though small in number, can, by God's grace, effect a course correction. How? Well, here's a hint. A little salt can flavor the whole bowl of soup. If we truly love our neighbors, we must not hold back from being fully what we are in Christ wherever we are in the system. The economic system, the legal system, the political system, you name it. A little yeast raises the whole loaf. But the yeast must be in the loaf. That is, Christ followers need to be active in all spheres of influence at every level, including the national. I invite you to find out more through the free online course Eliminating the Sacred-Secular Divide via the link below. My call to action here is that you'll click that link, take the course, and pass it on. A lot is at stake. This course will provide some hope.